I keep hearing is that Grigor Clegane the Mountain raped Elia and split her in half with his great sword.
I wasn't there. I don't know what...
If the Mountain killed my sister, your father gave the order. Tell your father I'm here. And tell him the Lannisters aren't the only ones who pay their debts.
Welcome to the Game of Thrones Iron Podcast, Season 4, Episode 1. I'm here with Rose Snow, Bitch of Westeros.
Hi.
And I'm Mike Sand, and we're going to recap, give our top 5 on the first episode of Season 4, Two Swords. We got our top 5 here, and I'm happy that we're back. I waited a long time for this for the show to come back. I think they came back really strong.
The moment we've all been waiting for.
Yes, the moment is here. So, what's your number 5, Ro?
Well, let's start with the opening of the show where they actually melt down Ned's sword. Now, that to me was a WTF moment. Like, how dare you shitting Lannisters melt down Ned's Valyrian steel sword?
Because they beat you.
Again, it was a jab, obviously, and... yeah, okay, they made two swords out of it. Ned's sword was unusually large, apparently, and, I don't know, I just thought, I thought the part was well done. I definitely thought the way that they did this whole, and then, the music in the background, and, the violins and whatnot, I thought it was a great part, but I guess it came across the way it was supposed to. You felt sorrow when they melted down Ned's sword. You were like, hey, wait, that's Ned's sword. So I guess that there was a point to be made there, and very well done, HBO. You made it.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty brutal. Definitely the Lannisters saying, we won. It was like almost like a teabag, when you beat somebody and
right.
Little like pwned.
Yeah, like Call of Duty.
Like Call of Duty,
right.
Call of Duty, rub it in.
So that was definitely my opening moment of wow.
All right, mine's the dragons, Khaleesi. The dragons are big now, and they're gonna kick some ass. I can't wait to see them eat some people, and they grew like 5 times their size. So by this rate, next episode they'll be the size of like a train.
They're currently adolescent dragons.
Yeah, they're in the rebellious stage. They're probably going to start, smoking weed and, staying out late. And, the Khaleesi is going to have to,
play mother of dragons.
Yeah, take their car keys away. And, one of them snapped at her. And Jorah, with his words of wisdom, said, "They're dragons, Khaleesi. You can't tame a dragon." But she is the mother of dragons. You would think she would have a little more control over her dragons.
Yeah, what's up with that, Danny? Discipline your kids.
Yeah, I mean,
my kids don't snap at me. I'm the bitch of Westeros.
Should have rolled up the newspaper and hit that thing on the snout.
Right.
Took the dragon treats away.
Yeah. What kind of mother are you? It's like, it's like handing your kid a peanut butter and jelly sandwich when they snap at you.
Yeah, somebody should call the dog whisperer.
You have to love when this I don't even know what the hell it was. A sheep or something just comes falling out of the sky and plop, right off the freaking rock. And I'm like, holy shit, what was that? And then I see, they're all charging at it.
That looked delicious to me. I totally eat those lamb chops. Put a little hot sauce on that thing. Mm.
Well, I mean, I don't think they have barbecues in Westeros.
Well, if they don't, they should. That's my number 5. What do you got for 4?
My number 4 is Tyrion. Tyrion's new marriage. He's a married man now. Mm-hmm. And it shows. I love this role. I think that he is pulling it off very well. And I appreciate the role. He went from this brothel hanging drunk, to this I'm a married man now whole thing. And I was just really pleased to see that. I think it's interesting where you can see the divide begin between him and Shay. And he's got this respect for his wife, his grieving, wife that's falling apart at the seams. And he's respecting her and he's protecting Shay. But he's also detaching from Shay because in his mind, he's now a married man and he doesn't do the whole unfaithful thing, which, we've seen quite often in Westeros. We've seen men, not so much take their wives that seriously, where, Robert Baratheon was a perfect example of that. And I think that it's interesting. I like it. And it's displayed a few times throughout the show where Tyrion is saying, my wife and my wife and my wife and my wife, and he just keeps, bringing up Sansa. And I'm sorry to see the divide between him and Shay. I think that Shay has a great part, and I've said that in the past. I really appreciate her. But I definitely thought it was an interesting twist, Tyrion's new attitude.
Boring. I like the old Tyrion better.
Whatever.
I mean, he's a married man. I mean, he was cool. He was a party animal, party imp in the house. Now he's like, I'm married. Well, I guess it happens to all of us, but
we've seen Tyrion dignified in a lot of ways, and I'm not surprised to see this come out.
Yeah, I mean, I find it strange that all of a sudden he's so devoted to Sansa. But I guess that's the way Tyrion is. If he's gonna do something, he's gonna do it right. And you could see that if he's the hand of the king, he's going to do a hell of a job. And I guess now he's a husband, and he's going to do that well. So, all right. So what do I got here for number 4? I got Jaime saying no to Tywin. I thought that was awesome. Tywin's got him a new sword. He said, you get out of Kingsguard, go back to Castle Rock, live it up. And he's like, nah, I'm not. No thanks. And the look on Tywin's face, like I didn't ask you a question, and getting all hot and bothered about it. And Jaime's basically, he said, well, what do you want? And Jaime's like, supper would be good, so he was totally trolling Tywin, and I thought it was hilarious. And he's definitely came a long way. Jaime's changed a lot, and like we've said in previous podcasts, we said we're all of a sudden this guy who pushed a kid out the window, we're like rooting for, which is pretty awesome, the way that they do that with these stories, how they make the bad guys all of a sudden the good guys. And I think Jaime was great in this episode. I like how putting him, he's like displaced, and he's back in his family, and he just doesn't even fit in anymore.
Right. Well, which brings me to my number 3, is actually the scene between Cersei and Jaime, where he basically, in some sense, tells her that he's staying in King's Landing for her. He essentially does tell her that, and her response to Jaime is, you took too long. And I'm saying, if there was never a moment that I thought this woman was absolutely a total basket case, that moment is right now. He took too long being held hostage somewhere, basically prisoner. And he took too long to get back to her. And I would have to say that one thing that they showed in Cersei's character is devotion. And we don't see that here. We see twins who has gone as far as being incestual, which you can't get any more closer than that to your twin. And, we have, 40 years with them both of being inseparable, even being lovers. And this guy's gone for a spell because, he's being held against his will, of course. And she is not okay with that. And again, just, shows Cersei's character that she is absolutely fucking mental. Period.
She actually wanted an apology.
Right.
She said, you go off, you lose your hand, and you get kidnapped, and I don't even get a sorry. It's like, what the fuck is that?
I think that the hand has a lot to do with her ew, and
yeah, maybe he's like damaged goods.
Right, exactly. And I think Brienne has something to do with it too.
Yeah,
Cersei's got that whole green-eyed monster going on. Like,
I bet you that's the first time a girl's been jealous of Brienne.
Well, that's probably true. And I guess what's more odd than an ancestral twin being jealous of you when you're a 6'5" Amazon? Yeah. That's where Martin is fantastic, is because, HBO, I got to give credit for the show, but that's where it all somehow makes sense in the world of Westeros.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, my number 3 is Jon Snow, on his little trial, telling basically everything, all the truth and nothing but the truth, so help him God. He basically admitted to everything that probably couldn't even been proven. Which was very Stark-like of him. I guess he really is. He definitely is a Stark. A little too honest for his own good. Tells him he slept with the Wildling girl. He killed Half Hand. But I guess the way he went about it seemed like he was just being completely honest so that they'll believe him. And he said there's this 100,000 wildlings coming right now to kill us. And it was good. It was good to see Master Aemon step up, and he had that line. I think you got the line there, right? What do you say about?
He said, "If we beheaded every ranger who lay with a girl, the wall would be manned by headless men."
I didn't know he was British.
I'm trying to be old.
Oh, that was your old voice.
I'm a Meister. It's my Meister voice.
All right. Let me see. Hold on.
He's gonna suck at this. Go ahead.
If we beheaded every... No, never mind.
That was terrible.
All right, that was bad.
Absolutely
right.
terrible.
Fine, I'll take your British Aemon over mine. But anyway, that was pretty hilarious. And Janos Slynt's back. He's the guy that Tyrion sent up there after killing all the babies in Westeros. He sent him up to the wall, so he's finally there. And you get to see him. He's completely ignorant to what's going on beyond the wall, but he totally wants to have him, have Jon Snow killed. And, he even when Jon Snow said they have giants, and he laughed, and the other two didn't laugh. The Master at Arms, Thorne, and nobody else, because they know there are giants above the wall. So, it just shows his ignorance. And I don't even know why he's in a position of power. But I thought it was interesting to see Jon on trial for all the things we've seen in the previous season. I thought it was well done, and I like how Aemon came to the rescue, and then at the end they said, "How did you get this talent for knowing when people are lying to you?" And he says, "I grew up in King's Landing." So I thought that was a cool line too. So
right.
That's my number 3.
Well, touching on Jon Snow, mine is actually going to be with Ygritte. It seems to me that Tormund and the Wildlings seem to start to really further catch on that Ygritte is not turning on Jon Snow. They do seem to realize that if she wanted Jon dead, he would be. And that seems to come out in the show where, he's saying, "I've seen you shoot a rabbit's eye out from a mile away, and if you wanted him dead, he would be." And it doesn't sound like he's dead. And it's an interesting twist in the Ygritte Jon thing, because you feel when he's riding away on that horse and she's shooting arrows at him that she's woman scorned and wants to see him dead because she's repeatedly shooting him. And I think that it is an interesting thing that we'll see what's going to come of this Ygritte thing. Again, I hope nothing comes of it, because if that's not one of my ew moments in the show, it's definitely that one.
Why didn't she shoot him in the Gagouche?
Well, he was sitting on a horse.
Now, you think that maybe it's because she really thought maybe she might get back with him? Because the Gagouche shot would have been a good one. That would have really, let him live, but now no more schmeckle.
No more you-know-nothing, Jon Snow.
Right, well, you lose your schmeckle, then you really taught the guy a lesson.
Well, she let him live, and I guess she let him live because she wants him to do the thing with his tongue.
Hey, she didn't shoot him in the tongue. Okay. So, what do we got next? I have, finally, the Red Viper. That's my number 2. Love this guy. Loved him in the books. Guy's awesome. I love how he walks in there all suave with his girlfriend. Actually, the first scene you see him is in the brothel, checking out the girls for him and his bastard paramour.
I thought 1 was gross. I thought 2 was grosser, and I would rather see what's behind door number 3, because that was like, I
don't know.
All the ugly girls line up for this part. We're auditioning for the Red Viper. Ew. Ew and ew. Dimple ass. Move on.
Well, anyway, I mean, she was very flexible, though. She could do I think she was the one that was the Myronese Knot girl from...
I disagree. It was not the same girl.
It wasn't? No. Well, listen, she wasn't timid. But the Red Viper, really freaking cool. Love the scene where he heard... the Lannisters singing. He walks in there and he just basically walks up. The fastest dagger draw I've ever seen on a movie or television. That was awesome. The way they made him lightning fast, and that's so cool how he just stabbed that guy. And and then the backstory. You get that backstory when Tyrion and him are sitting behind the brothel and they're talking, and you get to hear about that. His sister was the one that got raped and murdered by the Mountain, and more to come with that, obviously. And he's definitely, and then he does the line, about "Tell your father I'm here," and the Lannisters aren't the only ones that pay their debts. Awesome line, got me all hyped up. I can't say enough about him. I'm very excited to see the Red Viper. More of the Red Viper, man. Give me more. Love that guy.
I have to say that when the Martells came on, And being that we are the Red Vipers ourselves in game, I was very surprised to see how eccentric that the Martells were. I can't really find a different word to describe them. That's sort of how I perceived that role there. It was definitely a very big surprise how openly sexual they are, and they're like the Morticia Addams Family kind of thing going on with I don't know, just this whole romantic sexual thing that they had going on. It was very interesting.
Like Uncle Festa, Addams Family?
Uncle Fester is not who I was referring to.
Oh. You mean like the Morticia, like the Mi Amor, like that thing?
Right. Very, very sexual, attracted to each other. And that was fun and interesting.
I guess I watched a different Addams Family movie. I didn't see that.
You're younger than me.
Oh. You were talking about the black and white show?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
Yeah. I'm sure you didn't.
Yeah,
I mean... You're probably playing with your Legos instead.
Whatever. Yeah, I mean, I like how they're so different from the rest of Westeros, where they're the bastards aren't looked down upon, and he's walking around with a bastard like no problem. Where the other families, I don't think would do something like that. So, and like you said, open sexually, they're just they're cool. They're different. It's something different. It adds a little.
The Sands are
spice.
very proud to be bastards.
Yeah, cool. All right, so what's your number 2? No, what do you want?
My number 1.
Oh, we're on number 1 already. Okay,
right.
What do you got?
Daario Naharis.
Oh.
Not surprised that he didn't knock my socks off. I had said it in the past, and I'm saying it again. You cannot replace Ed Skrein. Again, the Daario that we have now in season 4, he's not a bad actor. He's not somebody that I was like, boo, I didn't feel that way. I just didn't feel he filled that role of Daario Naharis. Again, in another scene, maybe, another role, maybe, but not as Daario Naharis. Didn't bring the charisma, didn't bring the whole, charm and sexuality that Ed Skrein brought. He had this look, the appeal, and this new Daario just doesn't bring that to us. He just doesn't. He doesn't have that wow factor that Ed Skrein carried, and again, I'm not disappointed completely by the actor. I don't think his acting sucks or anything like that. He's just no Daario Naharis.
I felt like this new Daario, he went from a really good big character in the last season to now he's like a side character. Now he's a background, and yeah, he's very underwhelming. I have to say the whole Targaryen story in this episode was very blah. The whole thing with Grey Worm and Daario playing that game, holding the thing up. I don't know. I feel like I used to be a big Targaryen fan, but now that story is looking a little boring. Hopefully it steps up in a couple of episodes, but I'm not a fan either of him.
Right.
All right, my number 1, and the way they finished out the episode was Arya and the Hound. The whole fight scene was fantastic. I like how the Hound took out all those guys. It was really cool. The coolest kill he had was when he slammed that guy's face into that dagger. He was wrestling with the guy with the dagger, and then he basically just kept slamming his head into it. It was brutal. So that was really...
He was slamming it into his eye.
Right, yeah, it was going right through his head.
Right.
And that was really cool. And then seeing Arya jump in, and I'm a big fan of the kill scene with Arya. Thought that was really, really well done. A lot different than the books. In the books, she had like a guy she killed. She was stabbing like in a frenzy. Where this was a more controlled. Really, she took her time with that kill on getting the revenge for Lami's death, and she even repeated all the words back and played the whole scene out, word for word, and stuck the knife in slow. I thought that was it was a nice contrast to what, I thought was going to happen. So it was really cool, and I really kind of like finally getting some, the good guys got a win there. I liked Arya's revenge scene.
I beg to differ.
Oh, really?
I think that the Hound was fantastic. He always is. His scene was hilarious. It was awesome. It always is, like I said, but Arya is a little too anti-warrior dramatic for me. The dramatics that they're bringing to the scene with Arya is a little too boring, kind of thing for me. I want to see this brawny warrior, and I'm not seeing that in Arya. I'm seeing this dramatic bullshit that I sort of can't be bothered with. I want to see somebody pissed off, shoving that knife in and getting their point across. Yeah, okay, I get it. She repeats the lines, doesn't even know what the hell she's even talking about. And it's not for me. I'm not sold on this whole weird bullshit that they're spooling out. I'm not in love with it.
Now, when you say didn't know what he was talking about, the guy that she was killing?
He seemed confused.
That last minute, though, I think
Right.
she realized who she was.
Right.
Because that last minute, he's like, oh, and then...
Right.
But, again, you're more fan of that, that Brienne kind of thing. That
doesn't bring the
fight me
warrior
in a
factor.
battle.
Right.
Where I think Arya is more of an assassin. I think she's going she'll assassinate you kind of deal. So
Right.
I'm a fan of that.
We'll
That's
see what
different.
comes of it in the future.
Definitely. Well, that's what I got. Is that it for you?
That wraps it up for me.
All right, guys. We'll see you next episode.
Alrighty, bye-bye.
Bye.